There are stories whispered only under the hush of midnight, stories too fragile for daylight, too magical for ordinary hours. Imagine, for a moment, the sky stretching endlessly above you, quiet and shimmering, while a single star pulses a little brighter than the rest as if it's breathing, watching, waiting. Now imagine that star falling, not like a streak of fire, but softly, slowly, almost intentionally, drifting down like a feather of light. People in the old village spoke of omens, of miracles, of the heavens sending secrets to the earth. But no one expected that, when the starlight touched the riverbank, it would take the shape of a boy, small, fragile, glowing faintly like someone sculpted from moonbeams. His eyes were galaxies, swirling softly with colors no human had seen before. His skin shimmered like dust left behind by and yet, beneath all the beauty, he looked lost, as if he didn't understand how he arrived or what it meant to walk the world as something both magical and mortal. Tonight, you will walk with him through forests that whisper his name, through nights that bend toward his glow, through mysteries that only starlight-born beings can unravel. And as the world around him tries to claim or extinguish his brilliance, you will learn why he fell, what he carries within him, and how even a being made of stars can feel the weight of loneliness, wonder, and destiny. When the villagers found him beside the river, they approached carefully, expecting danger, expecting sorcery, yet the boy simply stared at the world with auditing leaves as if they were treasures, cupping water as if he had discovered a miracle. A gentle woman named Elara gathered him in her shawl, though the warmth came from him, not her. The villagers whispered questions she couldn't answer. Where did he come from? Why was he here? Was he a blessing or a warning? But Elara only smiled softly, sensing a tenderness in him that felt ancient yet innocent. She named him Liar. Every night, when the sky deepened and stars awakened, Liar would stand outside and listen, not with his ears, but with something inside him that hummed and glowed. The constellations pulsed back as if speaking to him, and though he didn't fully understand their language, he felt he was waiting for something, some message, some purpose. Yet the more he tried to listen, the stranger things became. Shadows moved toward him, drawn to his light. Flowers bloomed at his footsteps. Birds perched near him at night instead of morning. The village children adored him, but adults feared what they did not understand. Whispers grew rumors, suspicions, fear disguised as caution. Liar didn't know what it meant to be feared. He only knew he didn't belong entirely to the sky anymore. But he didn't belong completely to the earth either. One evening, the stars flickered in panic. Liar felt it instantly, a sudden pressure inside his chest, like 100 voices calling him at once. His glow brightened uncontrollably, illuminating the entire village square. People rushed out of their homes, gasping at the brilliance spreading from him like a living sunrise. But Lior wasn't trying to shine. He was trying to breathe. Something in the sky was calling him home, urgently, desperately, like a parent calling a lost child. He stepped away from the village, drawn by an invisible thread, pulling him toward the forest. The trees swayed unnaturally, though there was no wind, and the shadows stretched long and trembling. Elara followed him, calling his name softly, afraid to get too close because his radiance burned brighter with every step. Liar felt torn into, one part of him yearning for the stars, the other aching for the fragile, imperfect beauty he had found on earth, the laughter of children, the warmth of Elara's hands, the sound of rain hitting rooftops. Creatures of the forest emerged, silently, wolves, deer, even owls forming a circle around him, mesmerized by his glow. The ground beneath him hummed, the sky above him shuddered. A fracture of light opened in the heavens, like a wound. He knew. The stars wanted him back. But going back meant losing everything he had learned how to love. The fracture widened, pulsing like a heartbeat in the sky. Liar's glow flickered in response, as though his body could indeed decide whether to return to the cosmos or stay anchored to the earth. Elara reached him, finally, her hand trembling as she touched his shoulder. He didn't burn her. Instead, the light softened around her, bending gently like it recognized the one person who had given him a home. He gazed at her with those swirling galaxy eyes, full of questions he didn't know how to ask and emotions he didn't know how to name. She whispered, "You choose your world, my boy." The stars responded with a thundering pulse, a cosmic cry echoing across the forest. Liar's body fragmented into shimmering particles for a moment, as though beginning to dissolve back into starlight. But then he remembered the feeling of water slipping through his fingers, the sound of children calling his name, the tenderness in Elara's voice. He remembered warmth, not the blazing warmth of celestial fire, but the fragile warmth of human affection. And he chose. He reached toward the sky, not to go home, but to close the fracture. Light erupted outward, cascading like a waterfall of stars. The ground vibrated. Trees bent. The forest creatures bowed their heads, and slowly the fracture sealed, leaving only a single twinkling star where the wound had been. Liar collapsed into Elara's arms, dimmed but alive, glowing just enough to remind the world that he was Starlight. But he was also something entirely new. As the forest settled and the night returned to its quiet rhythm, Liar lifted his gaze toward the sky. For the first time, the stars didn't they call to him. They watched him, proud, patient, understanding. He knew he might always be different, a being of light walking a world of shadows, but he also knew his place was here, among the people who taught him love, fear, wonder, and choice. And now, as the last sparkles of starlight fade across the forest floor, I want you to imagine the glow around him flickering softly, like a lantern guiding you back from this story. If tonight's journey wrapped you in its magic, if it sparked something warm in your chest, or left a shimmer in your thoughts, then let your heart stay connected to this little corner of enchantment. Show this story a touch of your own light, the like button. Share this tale with someone who believes in wonder. And subscribe to MidnightFae so you never miss another night where worlds like this unfold. Let your imagination drift gently. Let the starlight follow you into your dreams. And remember, some stories choose you, the way Laia chose his world. Quietly, beautifully. The sky will always watch over you until our next tale.